Hey gang, it's Tommy. Thanks for joining us at 91x.com to check out this X session, the special X session with Tim McElrath and also Zach Blair joining us from Rise Against. Good to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for making time to do this. And we were just listening to you warm up, and if you're watching this video, you're in for a real treat hearing you guys play. But I wanted to ask a couple of questions about the new album Wolves, and you guys recorded that at Rock Falcon Studio in Nashville.
That's right.
And that was sort of the first time you hadn't recorded an album at the Blasting Room in Fort Collins.
Yes.
Was there any reason you wanted to go to Nashville, different setting? You really liked the room, liked the studio?
Yeah, we didn't go there so much for Nashville as we went there for Nick Raskulinix, who's produced Rush, Foo Fighters, Deftones, Mastodon, and a lot of other. He's sort of a Sound City legend. And that's where he was. And then not going back to the Blasting Room for the first time in over 10 years, I want to say, was just kind of a way of sort of switching it up a little bit, and trying something different, as a band, which I think in retrospect, the Descendants got back together, and so we would not have done a record with Bill anyway.
We could have done it anyways.
He probably would have been pretty busy.
Well, was it a change of pace you expected? Did you find something new when you were working there?
Yeah, it was definitely working with a guy like Nick who has done everything from Death Angel to Rancid.
That's true. That's true.
He's sort of like, he has this really crazy wide just swath of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
And I think also it was sort of like, we're not just like a band produced by Bill Stevenson and the Blasting Room, but we're sort of like students and pupils of his in a way. He's like a mentor of ours, and this was kind of like a kick them out of the nest and see if they can fly kind of record, And so I think we learned a lot about the things that we've been taught by doing so many records with someone like Bill as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta know. I assume in Nashville there were some good vegan-friendly places to eat.
Actually, there are. It's like foodie town. Anywhere there's a good
It's got to be, right?
Anywhere there's like a good foodie scene, you find great vegetarian stuff, and we definitely found that. Yeah.
Did you get to immerse yourself in the music scene, or were you really working the whole time you were there?
I think we immersed ourselves into the Nashville music scene just enough to find out what black sheep we are.
Yeah.
To find out just how much we don't fit in.
How much we don't know about modern country music.
Is that right?
Oh man.
It was a cool place to be. It's cool to see any kind of town that's all of its engines there are fueled by music, which is great.
Yeah.
But
Company town.
But don't let anybody try to tell you that there's more than one kind of music there.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
But I think Rise Against, we thrive in environments where we feel like the black sheep, and that was one of those places.
Well, I mean, did you meet people when you were in Nashville who were stoked, oh, cool, Rise Against is recording here?
I think you met people. People who when they found out that you didn't play country, it was kind of like, oh, well then what do you do?
Why are you here?
Yeah, it was sort of like
really.
It was a different. It's a cool place. I mean, there's definitely a punk scene and a rock scene there.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger and bigger. But I mean, Nashville's one of those places, and I think a lot of rock bands will tell you, I've been to Stuttgart, Germany more times than I've been to Nashville, Tennessee. You know what I mean? I've been to Tokyo more times than I've been to Nashville. Right. When I say I mean Rise Against. It's not one of those places that really we hit on the map. I hope we do more in the future because it's a cool place.
Really cool place.
But we came from a place where we played in garages and basements and eventually, into a room here with you. But there was nothing very careerist about what Rise Against ever did,
Well, tell me about the title of the new album, the leadoff cut, Wolves.
Yeah.
I love the quote. You are the winter, the long discontent.
Right.
But well, talk to me about what Wolves means to you.
Wolves is kind of like when you feel locked out, when you feel like you're out of control, when you feel like the place around you is no longer a place you recognize. You either kind of walk away in defeat, or you become the wolf at the gate trying to get back in. And that was where the idea of Wolves came from. It was sort of about, it was a call to action, and it was about sort of giving an identity and a character to that feeling of resistance, and not just any character, but like a wolf, like people who fight for change have teeth, and we're hungry, and we have claws, and we're angry. You know, it's not this innocent threat; it's a dangerous threat. You know, and that's what Wolves was. Wolves was kind of like trying to make this sort of statement that was a little more dangerous.
Well, and you guys have always been so overt lyrically, which is so important, especially now with music. And you can't get much more overt than a song called Bullshit.
Yep.
But you know, when I heard the song for the first time, I'm thinking like, these guys are singing about Kellyanne Conway. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Like the first verse, you're almost like describing her perfectly.
Right. Yeah, Bullshit was a song that was like...
I wasn't imagining this, right?
I mean, there was so much low-hanging fruit in the year 2017 for a band like Rise Against, so like, we tried to capture all of it. And a song like Bullshit is a song about calling things out as you see them, but also a song about apathy. You know, that first verse is like, it's like kind of like, that first verse is like, thank you for your silence, because it's allowing us to continue doing the evil shit that we do.
See, Morning in America seemed like that too. Like it was sort of like seeking inoculation from propaganda, but at the same time being aware you're still being affected by it.
Yeah, and like spinning on like the old like Reagan administration, like of its Morning in America, you know, that kind of thing. But talk about its mourning, like it's this sadness. It's this like what happens to this place that we all thought was something and turns out to be something else. You know, I mean, how do you continue to fight for that?
I want to ask you this, and I wrote all these down, but I want to read this question to you because it's important to me. It's a few years old now, but Ready to Fall remains one of the best videos I've ever seen. And we tend to think of our relationship to the environment in purely human terms. But what we're doing to animals by way of the harm we unleash on animals in the wild, like wolves, or with factory farming, I mean, that has an immense and terrible effect too. And that video just covered so much ground in a couple of minutes. And seeing rock bands doing that is just, it's like I said earlier, it's very important. And I remember that. It's been a while since that came out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, because that was the idea behind the video. Was like, that was one of the first videos we made for a major label, and our goal was like, man,
that's a great way to come out of the gate.
Our look at it was like, well, you know, they're giving us, we're being allowed to hijack airtime right now, and we're getting a budget to do it. Like, what do you want to show? Do you want to show yourself on like a big 10-foot high stage looking really cool, or are we going to show something that like a video that you could ostensibly watch on mute, and I wouldn't really care, you know, because it's like the message is in there. But like, let's make something designed to do more than just sell records. Let's make something that's kind of like going to leave an impression on people.
It did. I think it's great that you guys are teaming up with Pierce the Veil.
Oh yeah,
San Diego band. How'd you guys cross paths?
I think it was a lot of our fans who were telling us about them. You know, a lot of our fans were like, "You need to check this band out," and we are fans of this band, and so, you know, we try to listen to our fans.
Well, I want to close and we want to move along to the music, but there's a quote that I saw you said, Tim, and I want to read this back. And
sure.
I want to create spaces where misogyny can't exist, where xenophobia can't exist. I want to create spaces where those sentiments don't have any air and they suffocate, where those ideas die. We need more like you. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're in for a real treat. Tim and Zach from Rise Against. 91X X Sessions.